Hello, this is Dawn Tackis coming to you from my office downtown Pittsburgh. This podcast is The Point, where we have real, raw, unfiltered, unscripted conversations about all things wedding planning in the city of Pittsburgh and beyond. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's get to the point. Hello, everyone. This is Dawn Tackis from Pittsburgh Brides, The Point podcast, where we talk all things wedding. And today I have my friend from Litterini Travel, Meghan Myers, with me. She's an expert in this field. She's been in the industry almost a decade, and she's got some hot tips and tricks and things in her bag to share with our Pittsburgh brides about booking their honeymoon travel. Welcome, Meghan. Say hello to the Pittsburgh Brides community.
Thank you, Dawn. Hi, everyone. My name is Meghan Myers. I am an independent contractor with Litterini Travel, and as Dawn mentioned, I've been in the industry for almost 8 years. I'm a senior luxury travel advisor with Litterini and also one of their lead agents, and born and raised in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh girl, black and gold girl. Hey. So tell me a little bit. I know that wedding planning in itself is overwhelming, and sometimes the brides and grooms, they don't even think about honeymoon, but they should, and it should be a part of their budget pretty early on. And so one of the first questions I have for you is, I know they start maybe browsing online and looking for what they want. What are the benefits of having an travel agent assist you with your wedding planning, your honeymoon part of that?
Absolutely. So the favorite part about my services is they are complimentary to my clients. So anyone who books with me does not pay anything for my services, which is typically one of the questions that comes up when I start talking to my potential clients. Something they may not know: cruises, hotels, resorts, all-inclusives. They charge a fee built into all prices, whether you use a travel agent or not. So clients do not have to pay for my services. They are always complimentary to them. And I'm here to assist them from the initial choosing of their destination to adding on anything extra through travel. One thing I love about Litterini is we have really close partnerships with the brands that we work with. So while I am with them through the booking process, once they get on property, I know that they're going to be very well taken care of.
And you also are able to give them inside scoop because of that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we offer only destinations that we know personally, that we have experienced. So if I haven't personally myself been there, my agency owner has. We like to specialize. We like to know what we sell. We like to know what our clients are going to get and what they can expect when they go anywhere that we send them. And we work closely with those partners, like I said. So if something were to come up or go wrong, we can then get in contact with them and get it fixed quickly, which is such a thing to put your mind at ease when you have so
Sure.
much going on with your wedding.
Sure. And there's so much stress in planning a wedding. And, we know that things can and will go wrong. There's expect the unexpected when you're wedding planning, but your honeymoon should be a time to decompress. And knowing that you
Exactly.
have an advocate, somebody that's there on the sidelines to help you is, I think, priceless. And if it doesn't
Yes.
cost you anything more, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about when you are reserving a package for a honeymoon for honeymooners. Is it for the flights, the destination, the transfers, excursions? Is it all inclusive, or is it a la carte, or does it depend?
Right. So it definitely depends on what they're looking for. A lot of brides reach out early in the process. So airfare might not be out for their travel dates at this time, but what I like with the resorts that I work with are we could book the resort now with a small deposit, and then once airfare's out, I can add that to their package. Or some people have points or preferred airlines. They're always welcome to book airfare on their own. Most of my resorts do include airport transfers. If they're not included, I can include those. Spa services or something extra that we can add on that the couples like to do. Excursions, if they want to explore the island, or even if they're on a cruise and they're in port, I can assist with those as well.
How early do you think honeymooners or engaged couples should start this process?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm typically one of the first stops, but then that honeymoon kind of gets pushed to the wayside. And then it comes back out, usually like 9 to 12 months before the wedding is when most people start to book. I can definitely do last minute travel. Sometimes people are waiting to see how much money's left over after the wedding, or
Right.
sometimes they can't do the honeymoon right away. So I'm there in the process whenever they are. Some people do I can book out to 2027 right now. So some people do like to book that far in advance, and then that way they can make small payments. Some people even do like a little honey fund where they'll have guests
Sure.
get their bridal shower put into the honeymoon. So we can
Yeah.
do any which way that works for them.
This is a loaded question, but what are your favorite destinations from Pittsburgh?
Yes. So, favorite destinations for Pittsburgh. The easiest ones to get to are going to be Jamaica. So, you can fly into Montego Bay. I mean, you can get there for lunch. Bahamas, even faster. There's a flight that leaves here at 5 a.m. and it gets you to the Bahamas at 10 a.m. So, you can't beat that. Turks and Caicos is another destination that's basically Bahamas type area in the Caribbean. So, it's not that far of a flight, that long of a flight. Honeymooners love St. Lucia. A little bit of a longer flight, but definitely worth it. So I typically recommend that if clients can get 7 to 10 days for their honeymoon. And then a couple other favorites in the Caribbean are going to be Curacao, Grenada, and our newest resort is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
You had me at Jamaica.
I know. The list, I mean, I could go on and on.
I've been there at least 10 times. I have to go back and count, but pretty much every year for like 10 or 12 years. I've been all over the island, Negril, Montego Bay, even over into Kingston. We did what is the big river there? The Monterey. You have the Martha Ray, and then you have the other one, which is the same name as another big river. I can't think of it right now, but it's such an amazing experience. The culture, the food, the hospitality. That's one of my favorites. The most amazing sunset I've ever seen in my life.
I always say that
The
too. My
grill.
favorite is actually South Coast was my favorite sunset because they have an over the water bar and you can sit out there and watch the sunset. It's gorgeous.
And see, like, because of the time to travel by auto to Southside, I've never done that. So that's on my list.
Yes, they
Maybe we
did
need to
add a
have a
new road.
conversation.
Yeah, they did add a new road a couple years ago, so they lessened the drive a little bit.
When my spouse at the time and I traveled to Kingston to do the Rio Grande is what the river's name is, and it's a 4-hour bamboo ride down the river. And we had to go up the mountain and down on a bus with a bunch of other people. And the whole time he was just Mr. Grumpy. Like, why are you making me do this? This is such a nightmare. And it was a 3-hour bus ride to get to Kingston. The minute we got on that raft and we started going down that river, he looked at me and he's like, thank you for making me do this.
Aw.
Because it was just total and utter disconnect, peace. You're in the rainforest, in the jungle, and just, nature and everything that goes with it. And just for 4 hours on that raft. And I'll never forget that. These are the memories that matter. Like a
Right.
wedding goes by so quickly. And, boom, you spend 24 months planning it,
Mhm.
right? And then it's gone in like 12 hours. And I think, while you try to archive that with photos and videos and handwritten messages and notes from loved ones, I do believe that the experience of just being with the person you love, in my opinion, matters most. And that the honeymoon should be for me, it would be at the top of my list for those
Yes, and it's
reasons.
definitely the time for them to decompress after the
Yeah.
chaos, right? You did all the important things, you celebrated with your family and friends, and now it's time for just you two to be just together.
Is there a certain time of year that it's the best time to book travel that like they just drop the prices or they just put out everything for the next year?
Yeah, so like I said, we can book through 2027. Time of year, I have clients that travel year round. May is kind of like that sweet spot sometimes where you might get deals because it's outside of spring, but before summertime. Fall is also nice as well. Typically, based on when my clients are getting married, I can recommend destinations that would be best for them.
And then whenever they're booking, tell me a little bit. I know now you have to have a passport to leave the US to go anywhere, correct? And I think
Yes,
a lot of people think it's the real ID. The real ID is only for domestic travel, not international, correct?
that's right.
And the process of getting your passport and everything, you need to have that all lined up before you book, or can you book and then line that up? What do you recommend your couples?
Sure. So I typically say whenever you give me your information to book, make sure it's the same way it would be on your passport or it is on your passport. And then if for some reason they don't have their passport when they book with me, they can always get it and I can always modify as needed. I would say my clients are probably 50-50. Some of them haven't been out of the country until their honeymoon and some of them have their passport. So I am totally okay to book it before they get their passport, as long as it's within that time frame that makes me comfortable, because you never know what those passport times are. You can expedite, of course, but you don't want to be stressed about your passport on top of your wedding. So you want to make sure you have enough time to get that as well.
Talk to me a little bit about planning for things that can go wrong. Like what can they do? Like we always plan for the perfect wedding and for everything to execute magnificently, and we hope that's the case for you. But in the case that something should go wrong, what do you encourage for your couples? Where do you take them on that path?
Yeah, so we always say pack your patience and plan for the unexpected. And when you're traveling anywhere, you could be traveling to Florida or you could be traveling to St. Lucia. You just always have to be prepared and kind of have something in the back of your mind like, what if this happens? What if we miss our connection? What if we miss our flight? What if there's a hurricane? I mean, there could be natural disasters, which my resorts are amazing about. That's not
Yeah,
something they would have to worry about, but we know that things can happen. Typically, if something happens, like they miss a connection or they miss a flight or a flight is canceled, they'll reach out to me and let me know so that I can contact the resorts to let them know either they're not arriving that night or they're coming on a different flight, since transfers are typically included. So I'm kind of that middleman that's like, okay, calm down. I'll
yeah.
take care of it. We'll get you there when we get you there. We'll get everything worked out.
And insurance is a part of that as well. There's travel insurance, correct?
Yeah, so there's always travel insurance and there's always travel protection, which are two different things. I'm not an insurance expert here,
Okay.
but travel protection can be added through the resorts that you book with. And then travel insurance is going to be a separate and additional through an outside company, who I also have one that I work with and recommend. And clients can do one or the other. They can do both. Typically, travel insurance is going to cover more because it can cover your resort and then your airfare if you book it separately. Or if you book together your airfare and resort, say through Sandals, your travel protection would cover both.
Okay. Tell me how you make your couples at any destination you send them to. What can you do to give them the red carpet VIP treat?
Absolutely. So the one thing is that I'm their go-to person. So they don't ever have to call a call center or search a Facebook group or Google an answer. They can come to me with any question: best flights, best room, best resort, something for their budget. We want to change our resort. We want to change our room. I also promo watch. So if another room goes on promotion and they can get a better room for about the same price, I can then change them to that room.
I
Or
love
if
that.
they see that, they can tell me. So that's kind of nice to have these little like perks that you don't think of, and if they might pop up along the way, because if a client's booking a year out,
Mm.
things change, room availability
Mhm.
availability changes, pricing changes, promotions change. So I am able to maybe get them a better room or save a little bit of money. Then once they're ready and they're all set in their destination, if they want to add those spa services, we could do a couples massage, plan it ahead if they want to just kind of get everything paid for before they arrive on property. Or they can always add it once they're on property if it's something that they want to add later. Same thing with excursions. If they are going somewhere like Jamaica and they want to do Dunn's River Falls, I can add that excursion for them, catamaran cruises, anything to make it a little bit special. And then, of course, I mostly work with Sandals Resorts for my honeymooners, and they do offer a complimentary honeymoon package, which includes sparkling wine in their room on arrival. So it's a nice little touch just to start your honeymoon off. They'll do breakfast in bed for them one day of their choosing, reserve them a special table at a restaurant of their choice. So lots of little perks for those honeymooners.
Very nice, very nice. And a lot of those resorts, you can find resorts that are adult only, correct?
Exactly. So like I said, Sandals is our biggest honeymoon destination brand, and that is adults only. If I do a destination wedding, that would be beaches typically, and that's Turks and Caicos. People love that because that resort is for everyone. So you may have a lot of couples coming to your wedding, but maybe your
Yeah,
brother or sister have a small child that's going to
yeah.
attend your destination wedding. Then they would choose a beaches resort.
Interesting. And I don't know this because I don't have any young children or young grandchildren that would be traveling internationally. Do they need passports as well?
They do. Yes. My youngest actually has had a passport since he was 1.
I did not know that. It makes sense, right? But
Yeah, that was the
forgive
best.
me for not knowing.
Going to the post office and like propping him up for his picture, but I couldn't be in the picture. It's like our favorite passport picture.
I love that. What is I'm going to circle back to cost just to kind of, this is 2025 when this is being recorded. It's summer 2025. What are you looking at? What do you see like the range for a honeymoon? Is it 5,000, 7,000, 10,000? What's a ballpark number to go on a honeymoon for, let's say, what's the normal? 7 days?
So normally, yeah, 7 days. Some will do a little bit less, some will do a little bit more. I would say typically 5 to 10,000, and that can include airfare or not, depending on their room category. So when you get into these resorts, you have different room categories, different views. There's a luxury level, there's a club concierge, and then there's a butler level. And that's really the extra attention that you might want on your honeymoon. So a lot of my honeymooners do splurge on that because they want the full relaxation.
Yeah.
But I do work with all budgets. So budget is not typically the first question I ask, although it is an important question. I want to know more what they want to do. Are they the couple that just wants to lay on the beach and relax and enjoy each other? Or are they the couple that wants to go out and do excursions and see the island the whole week? Are they always on the go? And that also drives the budget as well.
Sure. Great answer. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And I think that's important because I think sometimes people might have a preconceived notion of affordability, and 5,000 at the end of the day when you're planning a wedding that's, as much as it is not that much. And you really should consider setting that money aside for the two of you, right? It's not it's
Absolutely.
it's a little bit about the big party, but it's mostly about the two of you. And those are,
Start your
again,
life together.
yeah, you're starting your life together, your husband and wife. It's a celebration of, that's where you have that intimacy and those moments, just the two of you beginning your journey. And I can't underscore, like, when you look back on your life, the memories that matter are those ones that take your breath away, such as that sunset in the grill or other moments that I've had like that in my life. And I'm sure the same is for you. What is your favorite destination? What moment do you remember that you're like, wow, this is
Well,
incredible?
since we brought it up, yeah, definitely the sunset is South Coast is my favorite. I'm also just such a beach person, and Grenada has the black sand beaches. So just seeing a beach that was a little bit different, and you kind of look out at the ocean and they have rainforests and volcanoes off in the distance. So just that like gorgeous view that you don't get anywhere else.
Do you have pictures on your phone? Send me pictures.
I will.
I think that's about it. When couples are budgeting for a honeymoon, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, but can they like pay along the way, or is it all at once?
Yes.
What can they do with that?
So Sandals Resorts, like I said, is who I specialize in and who I book most of my clients for honeymoons. Their payment plan is awesome. It's a $98 deposit to book, and then $302 is the second deposit. And then after that, nothing is due until 60 days before travel. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of clients like to pay a little here and there. I mean, even if you have $100, $200 here and there, they can go online and make those payments to kind of break it up a little bit. And I also mentioned sometimes people gift them things, maybe
Yeah,
their parents want to put $250 on.
sure.
They can do that as well. So those payment plans really help. Airfare, whether you book it with me or on your own, you are going to have to pay airfare in full. So I typically tell my clients to kind of wait and price watch and find the best airfare, because once you get that airfare, you're kind of locked into it, unless you book somewhere like Southwest, who will give you a credit back if the price
Sure.
decreases. But with the resorts, it's great. And if for some reason, wedding gets postponed or you have to change your dates, they are really good about that. 60 days out, you can change your dates, you can change your resort, like I said. So lots of flexibility even after deposits made.
Megan, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all these insider tips for our Pittsburgh Brides community about their travel plans for their honeymoon. And I just want to have you reach out to them and give them some contact information, how they can reach Litterini Travel.
Yes, thank you so much, Dawn, for having me. This is so much fun. The easiest way to get in touch with me would be to message me right on Facebook, where you're going to find this on our group, on the Pittsburgh Brides group. You can email or call me. I will put that info on as well. And then we get to chat about your needs, your wants, your vision for your honeymoon. And once we decide where you're headed, that little baby deposit makes it official.
And you have a brand ambassador to get you all hooked up for your travel, right?
I am here to help from the beginning all the way through travel.
I love that. I love that. Everybody needs to have a VIP brand ambassador. This is
Yes.
Dawn from Pittsburgh Brides. This podcast is The Point. I thank you for being with us today. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below if you have any questions about travel. I'm sure Megan will be watching this when it posts and it goes live. And if you are a part of our community, we thank you for being a part of it. You can also find Megan in the Pittsburgh Brides Facebook group and on pittsburghbrides.com. And that's it. We're signing off. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Bye.